Welcome to Carry the Ball to the Side, Part 1. So I'm going to show you what this movement looks like. This is the first lateral movement in the Tai Chi Chih movement series. And so we're going to be applying the same sort of weight shifting principles that we learned in the yinning and the yanging of the legs forward and backward, but we're going to apply those same principles side to side. So let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to do one set to your left, and I'm going to be mirroring you on this movement, and then one set back to the right. Just to give you a flavor of it, normally we do 3 sets to the left and then 3 sets back to the right. So if you're standing in the resting pose, take a breath. You can see that there is a ball and I'm carrying it to the side. So all of the names of the Tai Chi Chih movement form are very descriptive. They came to Justin in exactly their names and the movements together. And then I'm going to gather. This is one set to the left and one set back to the right, just to show you what it looks like. You'll notice that my left hand in this case is a little lower than the right hand. There's a 60% emphasis in the opposite hand to the leg that I'm shifting on across the bottom. Let's do one more. Over the top. To balance the yang leg that I'm shifting onto, the opposite hand becomes yang across the bottom and then neutral over the top. So let's break this down. You can see that I have a line of masking tape across the floor that's horizontal as well as vertical, and in this case it can be really helpful to put a piece of tape down, or if you have a wooden slat that you can kind of follow, because we want your foot placement to be really clear and equally placed. So when you step, so if your feet are together and you're stepping out, you don't want one of your feet to be up higher than the other one, and you also don't want it to be pointed at a different angle than the other one. You want an equal angled foot placement with a line of symmetry and also in a line. So let's learn the foot placement for Carry the Ball to the Side. This movement originates in the Dan Tian, which is that internal spot inside the body that's 2 inches below the navel, and it's spherical, so it's behind the body. There's an energy center in the body that is the Dan Tian. So we're going to allow this area to initiate the movement. So if I were standing in the resting pose, you can see this would move first. That will allow the whole body to follow. The shoulder stays back and comes along a little bit for the ride, but really I'm not initiating with my shoulder. So be aware of that. So here we go. Weight is now on my right leg so that I can step side left with that Tai Chi step. That means the heel touches first, and then I'm going to glide across a piano bench and then waist twist at the end. And then I'm going to soften the knee. This would be my right knee before. I'm just going to release it from the inside, and that means it's going to allow the weight to be absorbed into it as I glide back. Waist twist, soften the left knee, and then drive into it. Finish with the waist twist, glide back, driving into the knee, and one more. Waist twist. Complete with the waist twist, pick up the foot, and then pause. We're going to do another one to your left. So we're going to sink, allow the Dan Tian right here to turn Snake out the foot, keeping the weight on the right. Snake out the left heel with that Tai Chi step. And then waist twist, drive into the knee. You can check your feet, make sure that they're equal angled and in a line. And breathe. This is number 2, waist twist. And this is number 3. Really finish with that waist twist. And then the last one, sink. Snake out the foot. And just as a reminder, just like when we're stepping forward, as we sink and we turn from the Dan Tian, we aren't bringing the whole body with us when we step. We don't do that. The right distance of a foot placement for each one of us individually entails keeping the weight on the right leg and snaking out the foot, but not shifting the weight yet. So step with the Tai Chi step, heel first, and then check your feet and glide across. And then waist twist. Staying at that moving level, driving into the knee, waist twist. That was 3, I think. Okay. I'm going to stand up for a second and breathe. And feel the bottoms of the feet. So we do 3 sets to the left, and then we do 3 sets back to the right. So let's practice shifting the weight back to the right side. And I'm shifting my shirt so you can really see that here's the center of the body, and then it's the waist twist that initiates. So really the movement starts from the movement of the Dan Tian. So there, weight on the left leg, snake out the right heel, and then keep your feet flat, shifting into the right heel, waist twist, lateral, 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 waist twist. This is number 2 to the right. We're going to practice counting for this movement as well, so that you can be aware of how many rotations to do. This is number 3 across, and on the 3rd one we release, pick up, sink, initiate in the Dan Tian, snake out the foot, and then pause for a second here. This is that double weighted phase that we have similar to the forward-backward movement, where both of the feet are equally weighted. So you can really be aware of that point in the movement, and then we're going to continue. This is, that would be 1. Waist twist. And be also conscious of not turning with the shoulder. The shoulder comes along, but it's in response, light response to the weight shift, to the waist twist. And this is 3. If your legs are getting fatigued, your quads, you'll build your muscle. That's not a problem. But you can also shorten your stance a little if you need to. But just make sure that it's at the same, you keep your knees equally bent. And also completely shift the weight so that the weight is empty on one side in the knee when compared to the other side that you've shifted onto. So take a breath. Okay, now let's do the hand movement. If your hands are in the resting pose, just relax your legs. We're going to turn from the Dan Tian, And the hands will come along into forming that palm to palm polarity between the palms shape. And then we're going to, as we're turning the body, let the wrists initiate the fingertips pointing down. And remember, so my left hand, I'm sorry, my right hand, your right hand, because we're moving in this direction onto this yang leg, which is the left leg, we're going to balance. And so it's going to hang down just a little bit across the bottom, wrists through the waist, and then up over the top, neutral over the top. So there's no emphasis over the top. Slight emphasis, right hand across the bottom, neutral across the top. And then release and pause. And then let's do one more, but we're going to do this one to the other direction just to get a feel for it in your body. So if we're going to go the other direction, we're going to gather from your left. Let the wrists initiate the fingertips pointing down. And this time, because we're going that direction, moving into this yang leg, this hand is going to be lower, slightly lowered across the bottom, just to emphasize, becoming the yang hand. And then neutral over the top. This is number 2 across the bottom. Neutral, palm to palm, being aware of that connection between the palms. And then release and pause. Okay, so let's do this one together. Putting the hands and feet. And I'm going to move a little bit more over. Here we go. There we go. All right, so take a breath. So the very first place you should feel subtle movement is in the Dan Tian, 2 inches below the navel. So just like a hair's width, allow that to initiate. And then the arms respond. Right foot is weighted, left foot snakes out. I'm going to stay level with the floor, not popping up, not doing this. I'm staying level, driving into that knee, gliding across a piano bench. This is number 2 across the bottom. Number 3, release, pause, sink, gather, step, glide across, waist twist, neutral hands over the top. That was 1. Glide across, number 2 across the bottom. And breathe. This is number 3, so we release, pause, sink, gather, step, untuck, oops, we'll get an untuck. I said that so freely and you have no idea what it means. There's a hip swivel component to this movement that will be introduced in the next video. So for now, that's a little hint of what's to come. That was number 3, release. And then we go immediately back. And you are still always welcome to check your foot placement before you shift your weight onto it. And you can always correct your foot placement if you realize, oh, one foot's a little off. Anytime, take your moment to do that, that's fine. Number 2, wrists initiate, fingertips pointing down, and that was number 3. Pause, sink, gather, step and check, feet stay flat the whole time, be conscious that you don't roll, don't want to do that. Keep them flat, that was 1. This is number 2. last one. Oops, see, I had to check a little bit there. One across the bottom. Two. Fully empty each leg on the weight shift. So my right leg is empty now. Moving into the right leg, my left leg is empty. Pause. Take a breath. Let's just look at that weight shift one more time in terms of emptying the leg, because that's a really important component. Sink, step, watch my right knee glide across, fully shift the weight so that this leg is almost straight but not locked. That's what it means to empty it. It's not still bent, because that would be double yang. It's fully shifted, the waist twist happens. I could potentially lift this leg up because the weight is so firmly on this leg, and then drive back into it. I don't need to do that. And now, on the right leg, this leg is fully straightened but not locked. There's a little bit left, but back. Fully shift, waist twist, emptied leg. Now drive back into it. The weight is pouring back into this leg and emptying out of this one. Be really conscious of that part too in the weight shift. That's a very important, critical element to the power of the movement. So that was carry the ball to the side, part one. Please look at part two as well, which has a lot of information about the hip swivel, and you will not want to miss that.